Alright, so let's get into the changes that were made for the Project Hail Mary movie. If you were looking for a spoiler-free review, I have one of those on my channel, so you can head over there and check that out. But if you've already read it, or seen it, or both, or don't care about spoilers, here we go. So right off the bat, when I sat down to watch this movie, I realized that a lot of the changes that were going to be made were due to pacing. They really blitzed through those first couple chapters of Ryland waking up, realizing he has memory loss, trying to figure out where he is, what he's doing, who he is. All of that is really, really sped through in the movie, which makes a lot of sense. You want to get into those things very quickly to engage the audience and get the story going. You can have a little bit of leeway with that in a book, but in a movie it would make sense with your limitation on your runtime that you would want to get into those things better, especially with Rocky being such a big feature of the promotion. You want to get to that fast, and so I didn't mind all of those changes with cutting his coma, cutting that kind of initial figuring things out, where he is, what he's doing, even the later science stuff in the middle-ish of trying to breed the astrophage and painting the desert and all of that stuff that they did on Earth in flashbacks. I didn't mind cutting those things because the focus of the main story is really him in space with Rocky trying to solve the problem. So I know it bothered a lot of people, but it didn't bother me cutting some of the reasoning for what they were doing with the astrophage on Earth before Project Hail Mary launched. Another thing that I didn't mind was a lot of the changes with humor, like with Rocky being proud of how he eats instead of disgusted by it, or a lot of the added jokes that they put in the movie. I actually really liked that. There were two specific changes that I didn't love. The first one was something that I noticed while watching, which was the scene, I can't remember what they're talking about, something with astrophage, but they kind of slip in that all of the astronauts who are going have their way to end their mission already picked out. But it's played for a joke, and I just really liked that scene in the book because of how weighty and important and sad it felt. And so it felt a little cheap in the movie to just kind of gloss over it and just play it for laughs. So I was really disappointed by that joke. Especially because we had such little time with those characters in the movie. I really wish that they had taken more time to really let Ryland get to know them and really experience that loss for them. And then the other was Ryland's decision to go save Rocky being tied to the fact that he thinks that he will starve to death if he goes through with that. There's all of those parallels with him wanting to survive and not being willing to sacrifice things, but then with his relationship with Rocky, that changes.